What is it?
Hey, we got everybody. All ready? Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the July 22nd meeting of the Rome City Commission. Good crowd, glad to have everyone here. We start off every meeting with an invocation and pledge to the flag. Tonight, I'm going to ask our former mayor and city commissioner, Bill Collins, if he will, to lead us in that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would ask that everybody would like to join me in the prayer to stand. Dear God, thank you for this day. Thank you for the city and the county in which we live. Thank you for our families. Thank you for the work that all our citizens and all our commissioners and all our public safety people, for all the work that they do, all the prayers that they send out, keeping us all safe. Dear God, I just ask you to continue to bless this city, this county, and this nation. Throw your long arms of protection around us. Keep us in your grace. Take care of all our families. Dear God, and thank you for the work that you allow us as commissioners to do and guide us. Help us, dear God. All these things I ask in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Clerk, if you will, call the roll.
Yes, sir. Mayor McDaniel.
Here.
Commissioner Bojo.
Here.
Brock.
Here.
Beeman.
Here.
Dawes.
Here.
Quick.
Here.
Collins.
Here.
Robinson.
Here.
You've received the minutes of our July the 8th, 2024 meeting and our July 18th, 2024 special call meeting of the Rome City Commission. We will approve those by common consent. We have no proclamations tonight. We do have one guest, Mr. Steve Smith. I will ask Mr. Smith, if you will, go to the podium and give us your name and address. I just gave your name. If you give us your address.
Steve Smith. I'm with Harvest Moon Cafe on Broad Street 234, representing Harvest Moon and full-service operators in Rome, Georgia.
You'll have 3 minutes, Steve. Thank you.
Okay. So I sent a memo to each member of the commission tonight. Hopefully some of you have had an opportunity to read that. If not, I implore you to please do so. Took some time last night to write that. It's pretty impassioned because, frankly, I can't believe I'm before you all again talking about the same issue. It seems like it's every several months we're back before you talking about the same issues. And it caught me off guard. Thank you to Jamie Doss for letting me know Saturday night when he stopped by for dinner that I might want to be here because I otherwise wouldn't have known. I would like to thank, in attendance with me tonight, Anthony Barba, representing La Scala Mediterranean Bistro, and Jeremy Duke, that's with Mellow Mushroom and Moe's Barbecue. Both have an interest also in speaking against this proposal to change the ordinance to allow small bars. In particular, we question why it's targeting specifically downtown locations and not others. And I apologize to the commissioners for my writing of that letter. I misspelled the word leach. It is correctly spelled with 2 E's and no A, but I am describing a small animal that attaches itself to an otherwise healthy host and leaches away the lifeblood of that host. Not a symbiotic relationship. Leeches kill their prey, Google it. That is the way we view these small bars that are being proposed. They do not generate the traffic, they do not generate the jobs. They intend to encumber the very, very challenging business that full-service operators have that I defined in my letter to you. I can tell you, Anthony and I were just talking, you know, year after year, there's periods of time where we all struggle and stress over whether we're even able to make our payroll. It is that thin of a margin of business. I know there's some commissioners on the committee that understand that. I hope that you can educate one another on how difficult this business is. We believe that the vibrancy of downtown is due in no small part to the presence of full-service restaurant operators. We don't believe it would be as vibrant without us, and we don't believe that this proposal supports full-service restaurants. It'll make it more difficult for new startups, which we welcome. It'll make it more challenging for operators to continue operating in the future, which affects all the businesses in the area. All the businesses downtown benefit from the traffic that we generate, and we ask that you defeat this proposed change and that you please don't have us before you every 5 or 6 months talking about the same thing. Thank you.
Thank you. We have no resolutions. We have 2 items on first reading.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, you do have 2 items on first reading tonight, both of which come to you from the Alcohol Control Commission. One is directly related to the comments made by Mr. Smith, and that is the small bar ordinance. That is coming to you in its current configuration. You all have addressed that twice in the past, as Mr. Smith referenced in 2023. The second ordinance amendment is an amendment to our alcohol sales permit requirements. The alcohol ID cards, as are commonly known, that are worn by folks working in the service industry, beer and wine service, or beer, wine, and liquor, and at our liquor stores, not for those folks selling only beer and wine package, convenience stores, drug stores, grocery stores. And both of these come to you from the Alcohol Control Commission. We will plan on more debate and a second reading at our first meeting in August.
Thank you. We have nothing on second reading, nothing continued on first reading. We do have a number of items.
So regarding the first reading with the small bar ordinance, I'd like to amend some of the language. I would like the closing time not to be 12, but 11. And I'd like the size not to be 1,800 square feet, but 1,200 square feet. And again, this is just for first reading. Thank you. Does that require a vote?
Can you do that?
I don't think we vote on first readings here, traditionally. I think it's fine to have the input, obviously, from the commissioner.
I think when it comes up before a vote, we can have a motion to amend. But we don't amend on first
Or
reading.
you could direct your staff to go ahead and amend it.
Frank, if there's no objection, perhaps we could, if there's no objection from another commissioner, I think we may have done some procedures like that in the past. We can make that change and have that change on second reading, if you think that's appropriate.
I'm good with that.
We have a number of items on under public hearing, and I'll call on Commissioner Randy Quick.
First item on public hearing from the Planning Commission is item Z24-07-01. It is a request to rezone from community commercial to suburban residential for the property at 3 Westland Drive, Rome, Georgia 30165. Floyd County Tax Parcel H13X317, comes with a recommendation from the Planning Commission and also a unanimous approval of the Planning Commission Board.
All right, good evening, everyone. The applicant property is outlined on your screen. This is in West Rome. This is Westland Drive. To the immediate north, you can see part of Shorter Avenue. This is a 2019 aerial image. So that larger property to the north is now the Raceway gas station. This is just out-of-date imagery. This is a house that has always been zoned community commercial for approximately 24 years now. The request is simply to rezone it to match the use. This would allow for them to potentially sell the house or replace it if it were ever destroyed. If you notice, several homes through here are zoned community commercial. The one to the east that is SR we fixed a few years ago. If you remember, that was in the middle of the pandemic. I walked this street, and unfortunately, because of the pandemic, nobody would open their door to talk to me, so I could help them fix it, except for one person who made me holler at him from the end of the driveway. These folks are here now to fix it for various reasons. This does come with a staff recommendation of approval, as well as unanimous approval from the Planning Commission. This is the application itself. This is a picture of the house provided by the applicants. Picture I took. It is a nice, well-established neighborhood, well-maintained, and staff recommends approval, as does the Planning Commission.
I now open the public hearing. Is anyone here to speak in favor of the proposal? If you will, go to the podium and give us your name and address. And you'll have 10 minutes.
Marka Palmer, I live at 16 Riverview Road. That home is my mom's home. She is now in assisted living, but Jim Gibbons informed me it was listed as commercial, so we would love for you to change it. I did go to all the neighbors, and one other one is here, Tammy. She is the next one that has applied, and we appreciate you if you would fix this problem. So when we got ready to sell it, if ever we could.
Anyone here to speak in favor? Anyone else? Anyone here to speak in opposition? I now close the public hearing, and I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve this request to rezone from community commercial to suburban residential.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Mr. Clerk, call the roll.
Sir. Commissioner Bojo,
Yes.
Brock,
Yes.
Beeman,
Yes.
Dawes.
Yes.
Quick,
Yes.
Collins,
Yes?
Robinson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item B is Z24-07-02. It is a request to rezone from community commercial to suburban residential for the property at 7 Westland Drive, Rome, Georgia 30165, Floyd County Tax Parcel H13X319, also coming with a unanimous approval from the Planning Commission and Board.
All right, this is virtually the exact same map. We're just two houses down. Same situation, a house that's always been zoned community commercial. The request is to rezone it to suburban residential to match the use. And this does prevent potential commercial encroachment into the neighborhood. This does come with a staff recommendation of approval as well as unanimous approval from the Planning Commission. This is the application itself. We appreciate the previous neighbor telling this neighbor about it. It's very helpful. Picture of the property. Looking around, the general character of the area. Thank you.
I now open the public hearing. Is anyone here to speak in favor? If you will, go to the podium and give us your name and address, please.
Tammy Niblett Richardson. This is my mother's house. I live in Cedar Bluff, Alabama, and she is 90 years old and lives there by herself. And we did not know this. Thank goodness Marka told us, and just in the case that we need to sell it when she passes away, that would be great if y'all would approve it. Thank you.
Anyone else here to speak in favor? Anyone to speak in opposition? I now close the public hearing, and I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion we approve this request to rezone from community commercial to suburban residential.
I have Have a motion, second?
Second.
Have a motion and second. Any discussion? Mr. Clerk, call the roll.
Commissioner Bojo,
Yes.
Brock,
Yes.
Beeman,
Yes.
Dawes.
Yes.
Quick,
Yes.
Collins,
Yes,
Robinson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next item is SUP 24-07-03. It is request for a special use permit for a duplex in a high-density traditional residential zoning district for the property at 312 East 15th Street, Rome, Georgia 30161, Floyd County Tax Parcel J14N213. Also comes with a unanimous recommendation from the Planning Commission and Board.
Before I tell you about this one, I want to tell you in advance that the applicant will not be here tonight. She is still trying to get home from a vacation, and her flights have still been canceled, so she will not be here through no fault of her own. This is a special use permit request for a duplex. As you can see, there's already a structure on the property. It actually is a duplex. It suffered a catastrophic fire, and I believe it was 2017. If we zoom in closer, you can actually see there's the remnants of an old tarp on the roof. The applicant is asking to rehab that building. I'll show you some pictures here in a second. There are multiple other duplexes within the neighborhood, so this is not out of character. As a matter of fact, this property was built long before we had zoning in the area. Letter provided by the applicant. This is how it currently looks. We're on East 15th Street, just off of Maple. It's 2 one-bedroom units. As you can see, the windows are still boarded up. The whole building was essentially gutted. It will need extensive renovation. Some of the other homes in the area. And this does come with a staff recommendation of approval as well as a unanimous Planning Commission approval. Thank you.
I now open the public hearing. Anyone here to speak in favor? Anyone here to speak in opposition? I now close the public hearing. I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve this request for the special use permit.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Mr. Clerk, call the roll.
Commissioner Bojo,
Yes.
Brock,
Yes.
Beeman,
Yes.
Dawes,
Yes.
Quick,
Yes.
Collins,
yes,
Robinson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next item is item D. It is A24-07-05. It is a request to annex the property at 122 Morgan Drive Northwest, Rome, Georgia 30165, zone suburban residential with no change in use or zoning. Floyd County Tax Parcel H12Z363. Comes with unanimous recommendation of approval from the Planning Commission and Board.
All right, so the applicant property is outlined on your screen. This is Garden Lakes, and as you all know, Garden Lakes is a hodgepodge of city and county. You can go from city to county 5 times on the same block. This is essentially an island of county within the city, and we are slowly dissolving that island. It is developed as a site-built single-family home. The entire neighborhood is zoned suburban residential. There is no proposed change in use or zoning. As a matter of fact, this is the city limits for the area. Everything highlighted is in the city limits. Everything that is not is county. This is a nightmare for trash pickup and multiple services. This is the application itself. This is what the property looks like. And this does come with a staff recommendation of approval and unanimous approval from the Planning Commission.
I now open the public hearing. Is anyone here to speak in favor? Is anyone here to speak in opposition? I now close the public hearing. I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the request to annex the property at 122 Morgan Drive.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Commissioner Bojo,
Yes.
Brock,
Yes.
Beeman,
Yes.
Dawes,
Yes.
Quick,
Yes.
Collins,
yes,
Robinson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
And the last item, Mr. Mayor, is Z24-07-07. It is a request to rezone from neighborhood office commercial to duplex residential for the property at 209 Redmond Road, Rome, Georgia 30165, Floyd County Tax Parcel I13W08. Comes with a Planning Commission recommendation of approval 6-1.
All right, the applicant property is outlined on your screen. This is Redmond Road running east to west. We're on the northern side of the Somerville Park neighborhood. You can also see a little bit of the bypass even further north. This street is a mix. It was historically all single-family homes. Now it's a mix of offices, houses, duplexes, hodgepodge. The request is to rezone to duplex residential. Property is currently developed as a single-family home. It's fallen into disrepair. The applicant also owns the property to the immediate west, there at the corner. So he would basically be building right up next to his own building. As you can see, there's already quite a bit of duplex residential zoning in the immediate area. You have a conceptual layout of what it might look like. So as you see, you have parking on the sides and facing the office building to the east. In theory, what the units could look like. This is the application itself. Scope of work. How the property is currently laid out. A layout for the proposed units. This is what the property currently looks like. Looking up and down the road. The office next door that the applicant also owns. In the opposite direction towards Martha Berry. And just a kind of an image of, how the older homes, and many of which have now been converted to offices, how they look. Staff recommended approval, but we did ask for a condition that at least one of the proposed units face Redmond Road, which is typical, as you can see here. The Planning Commission chose to approve by a vote of 6-1, and that was a blanket approval. Thank you.
I now open the public hearing. Is anyone here to speak in favor?
Yes.
You will go to the podium, give us your name and address, please.
My name is Travis Williams. I live at 4 Garrett Road, Rome, Georgia. I represent the owner of the property, Brian Middleton. He owns the property on the corner next to this property, which is a doctor's office. The property on the other side is a new duplex, which was just recently built. There are quite a few duplexes on that stretch of road right there, and duplex is recommended as an infill between NOC and residential property, so this should be a good fit, we hope that you will approve it. We think it'll be a very good thing for Rome, much improvement on what the property is now, and residential property is something that is needed in the Rome area right now, more, we think, than commercial property. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else here to speak in favor? Anyone to speak in opposition? I now close the public hearing. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve this request for rezoning.
I second it.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Commissioner Bojo?
Yes.
Brock? Yes. Beeman?
Yes.
Dawes?
Yes.
Quick?
Yes.
Collins?
Yes?
Robinson?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you, Bryce.
Yes, sir.
We have the third of our tax increase public hearings tonight. We've had two previous hearings. This is a 2024 tax millage proposal. Let our city manager speak to it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and as said, public hearing number 3 to set the 24 rates for both City of Rome and Rome City Schools. And as we have talked about, any millage rate that is above the calculated rollback rate of 24.52 requires us to advertise as a tax increase. And that's why we find ourselves with hearing number 3. So even though we're lowering the millage rate, we're required by law to advertise. And so, as before you, City of Rome M&O would be a decrease from 7.8 down to 7.75. City Capital from 1.8 down to 1.75. Rome City Schools, 16.85, reduction of 16.75. So that total difference is 0.2 of a mil or a 0.75% decrease. So 26.25 would be the new combined rates. And as an example, if you have a $150,000 house inside the City of Rome, not looking at exemptions and not looking at any other changes going on with that property, your tax bill would be a decrease. So even though this is an increase above the rollback rate, it is not a tax increase. And as a reminder to our listening public, the City of Rome does not set assessed values. So we have no control over what homes and properties get valued. We simply, the part that we control is the city and the city school millage rates. And so, Mr. Mayor, that would conclude, and we would now need to conduct public hearing number 3.
Thanks, Sammy. I'll now open the public hearing. Anyone want to comment on the tax increase? In favor or against? If you will, go to the podium, give us your name and address, and you'll have 3 minutes.
I'm sorry, you didn't say in favor. I'm not in favor.
Pardon?
I'm sorry, I'm not in favor of it.
Oh, either. Any public comment?
Any public comment? Okay.
Yeah, just go to the podium and give us your name and address. You'll have 3 minutes.
Hello, I attended your meeting Wednesday morning, and I am going to be repeating myself. I'm sorry about that. But I do represent our neighborhood, and quite a few of them are here tonight. We oppose this tax increase. I wanted to ask the question if you've exhausted all means of trimming the budget. I don't know. Can anyone answer that for me to possibly cover some of the salaries and things that are definitely needed for our police department and other city employees? But is there any other way, is what I'm asking. And I just want to say that my name is Carolyn Koblis, and I live at 107 Woodcrest Drive, Southwest, Rome, Georgia, 30161. Our neighborhood is a mix of young families and retirees. And I know as retirees, we get some breaks. But most of us are on fixed incomes, and many of the young people that are working, their salaries have not kept up with increasing home values, taxes, in general, the economy. So it's very difficult for a young person to buy a new house with high interest rates, overvalued home prices, and then be hit with a higher tax. So I'm mostly speaking for them. But some of us are living on like single Social Security checks. And even though we get breaks and perks by being old, we still have struggled to pay our monthly expenses. It's getting harder and harder to live on Social Security as well. We know this environment that we live in. And in Rome, I'm sure many, many people live from paycheck to paycheck. So I oppose this tax. I'm just requesting, is there another way of coming up with the funds to meet these salaries and things that are desperately needed, I'm sure. I'm sorry, I have to check my notes. From the way I read in the paper that the tax increase was 14.6%, is that correct?
That is not correct.
Okay, what is the tax increase?
So, Madam, we're actually lowering the
saw
city and city school millage rate.
I saw
And
that.
so I can't speak to any specific property, but as an example, if you lived in a home that was valued at $150,000 and there's no change in that home's assessed value, which the city does not control, your property tax for city and city schools would be a decrease of about $12. Decrease.
Well, I didn't know that. I'm enlightened. It's still difficult.
Completely understood.
It's
And
still difficult
yes,
for many
ma'am.
of us. And I guess I'm here to oppose the
Understood.
tax. Okay? Thank you.
The only thing the city and county governments control is the millage rate. We have nothing to do with the assessments, and the assessments are why people's taxes are going up. That's right. I've had some really ugly phone calls, even from relatives, and it's not anything that commissioners have anything that we can control. It's based on the assessed value, and we don't set the assessed value. Anyone else that would like to speak? I will close the public hearing. We have another public hearing, and that is to adopt the tax millage rate. And Sammy, do you want to speak to the resolution?
Sure. Mayor, all I would add is that the rates as discussed, the 775, the 175 capital, and then the 1675 are what is represented within all of this legalese resolution. And so, Mr. Mayor, we would simply need to conduct another public hearing, and then we would simply need a motion to adopt the resolution as presented.
Okay, I will open the public hearing regarding the adoption of the tax millage rate resolution that you'll see on the screen behind me. Is anyone here that would like to speak regarding the tax millage rate resolution? I will close the public hearing.
That's correct.
Mr.
I'll
Mayor, I'd like to
entertain a
make a motion to approve the resolution for the 2024 tax millage rate.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Mr. Clerk, call the roll.
Sir, Commissioner Bojo?
Yes.
Brock?
Yes.
Beeman?
Yes.
Doss?
Yes.
Quick?
Yes.
Collins?
Yes?
Robinson?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, do you have anything?
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Manager?
No report, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Mr. Attorney? Under my time, the Joint Services Committee will meet Tuesday, August 6th at 9 a.m. in the Sam King Room. Commissioner Bojo?
Yes, just one committee announcement. The Water and Sewer Committee will meet Thursday, August 1st, 9 o'clock in the Sam King Room, and that concludes my report.
Commissioner Brock?
Development Oversight Committee will meet Tuesday, August 6th at 10 o'clock in Sam King Room. That's it for me.
Commissioner Cochran is not with us. He is actually on vacation with his family. Commissioner Beeman?
Two committee reports. The Solid Waste Commission will meet Tuesday, tomorrow, July the 23rd at 8:30 a.m. in the Sam King Room. And under the Tourism Committee will be traveling to Cave Springs on Wednesday, July the 24th, departing promptly at 11:30 a.m. from the Tourism Civic Center parking lot. And that concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Commissioner Doss?
Thank you, Mayor. Under Public Works, Traffic, Transit, and Trails, under the transit portion of our committee, I make a motion to approve the transit procurement policy And what that means, and we talked about it at length downstairs, is our Rome Transit Department will default to FTA procurement policy for all procurements 20,000 and above. And that is my motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Quick.
What, does that require a vote?
I'm sorry, it does.
Thank you.
I make a motion, we vote.
Have a motion?
I make the motion.
I second it.
Have a motion and second. Any discussion? Mr. Clerk, call the roll.
Commissioner Bojo?
Yes.
Brock?
Yes.
Beeman?
Yes.
Doss?
Yes.
Quick?
Yes.
Collins?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Now, Commissioner Quick.
Thank you, sir. Committee on Committees makes the following appointments recommendation to the Board of Adjustments, reappointment, reappointing Cameron Abney, Historic Preservation, appointing Kaylee Schroeder, replacing David Klontz, appointing Julie Wagaspak, replacing Jake Hager, and on the Northwest Georgia Housing Authority, the appointment of Jamie Palmer, replacing the retiring Hilda Curtis. And that comes as in the form of a motion from Committee on Committees.
And I'll
Motion,
second.
need a second?
Second.
Have a motion and second. Any discussion? Mr. Clerk, call the roll.
Commissioner Bojo?
Yes.
Brock?
Yes.
Beeman?
Abstain. I am an employee of the Housing Authority.
Doss?
Yes.
Quick?
Yes.
Collins?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Next item is from General Administration, and it is the request for funding for Brothers Place. And Brothers Place, we saw an outstanding presentation at General Administration, a very moving presentation. Brothers Place, can we pull that up, Mr. Clerk?
Yes, sir.
Brothers Place, as you can read, is a men's home. It's located in Rome, Georgia. It's a vision from TK and Claudia Hamilton to meet the pressing need of mending men in the community almost 3 years ago. And if you can scroll down so that we can show some of the photos, this is what the building once looks like over there on Maple, and then the photo right below is what it looks like now. TK and Claudia have utilized their own funds to revamp this building with a purpose of reintroducing men to a point in their life where they're good citizens and contributing citizens and creating a change in men's lives. And what they have requested is funds to help for the renovation of the interior portion of that building to have the furniture and residence for 12 individuals to be transformed. We view it as a prototype of some great things that can be done all around the city. And our recommendation right now is for utilizing $150,000 from our opioid settlement funding for this particular project. And that comes in a motion from General Administration to approve.
Comes as a motion. Need a second?
Second.
Have a motion and second. Any discussion? Mr. Clerk, call the roll.
Commissioner Bojo?
Yes.
Brock?
Yes.
Beeman?
Yes.
Doss?
Yes.
Quick?
Yes.
Collins?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes. I gotta add one thing to that. TK Hamilton is a solid guy, and he has, he was a guy, and we spoke about this in caucus, he was a guy that was in this house at one point. Not this particular house, but he was in that state. He has brought himself up to be a very honorable businessman and Christian guy that is great for this community. Any help that we can give this guy, we should, because he is solid.
Amen.
And the next item out of General Administration, Mr. Mayor, is the pay plan. and the approval. And, Mr. Manager,
If you'd like, I'm happy to just do a brief recap. You guys have heard at General Administration, then we discussed earlier tonight at caucus. And so about November, December of 2023, we endeavored to seriously look at this salary and benefits survey. And so we engaged a group, Evergreen Solutions, who conducted this payroll plan. And so it's an intense amount of work. Christy, our Human Resources Director, worked closely with Peter and his team. They surveyed 16 other governments and made comparisons to us. And so sort of the goals of this was to look at both external and internal equity, look at concerns with turnover, where we've got jobs that we're continuing to have to hire and continue to replace, and just, trying to be as competitive as possible. And so the thing, and we talked about this a little earlier tonight, we often tell our employees we can't compete with the private sector, but what I never want as city managers, I don't want our employees who leave us to go work next door, across the street, or down the road for a comparable local government, because we tout ourselves as a first-rate, full-class city, and that's exactly what we intend to be. And so I am encouraged by the positive response received. And so as we have learned and as we've looked, there is a cost for us to implement the pay plan. It's roughly $2.5 million. And about 1.6 of that would go against the city general fund, and the rest of that would be across various and sundry enterprise funds. And so it is not without some expense. Some of the areas, and we've got a great representation here tonight from public safety, and we got a lot of city employees, so I appreciate y'all being here tonight to hear this firsthand. So one is thank you for your service, thank you for what you do. You guys are the reason that the city is the city, that you're willing to get up each day and go do what you do day in and day out. And so we often say our employees are the most valuable resource, and so that's why we find ourselves here tonight. And so the goals of the study would be to implement, if we get sign-off by the commission tonight, the goal is to implement on September 1st. And so part of what's got to happen is there's a good bit of data processing that HR has got to do. She's got to basically look at each position. And some of the big highlights that I'm sure that have been discussed is the minimum salary at $13 goes to $16 an hour. And so again, I don't have to tell anybody in here, we're all paying more for everything. And so we're all in this together as a society. Everybody's needing more. Public safety minimum pay goes to $52,000, and that we feel was extremely competitive, and that was by design because we want to put the money where our mouth is. That we want to be fully staffed in Rome Police. We want to be fully staffed at Rome Fire. We don't want our employees to have to go elsewhere and seek employment. And so, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, what's before us tonight, as you guys heard in caucus, it's an aggressive plan. It's a plan that we've never endeavored to do. I've been with the city a number of years. We've made some adjustments, but we've never made anything on a comprehensive scale. And so we, from a financial perspective, we think the time is right to do this, to do it now. And in fact, I don't know that we can afford to get further behind if we don't do this. And so this is city manager's recommendation, and it is our staff's recommendation that we would move forward. And general administration enthusiastically supported it. And so that finds us here tonight, and happy to try to answer any questions.
I make a motion that we approve this pay plan. And look out there, and I want you to know, this is what makes this city work, and we're so very, very proud of you.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Just a comment to all our employees, we appreciate the good work, but we appreciate you staying in Rome, Georgia.
Any other comments?
I have one. So y'all look so humbly sad, but this shouldn't be a sad day. This should be an exciting day because we see you, we hear you, and there's no way the city can grow without boots on the ground, and y'all are our boots on the ground. So we see you, we know we don't want you to suffer, we want you to grow, we want you to prosper, but we also want you to stay here. So today, I hope marks the day to let you know that you are our boots on the ground and we support you, so smile.
I want you guys to know that your city manager fights for you, and your department heads, and Christie, you got somebody really good in your corner right there. And Tony, when somebody calls 911, commissioners don't show up, and you know, if you got a stopped up sewer, you don't want me and Bill Collins out there. But our greatest resource in the city is our people. I've been on commission for 9 years now, and we haven't done enough for our employees over that period of time. What we're trying to do is what other employers are doing. Healthcare is doing it. They're doing it in industry. And we can't compete with industry. But we've got to be able to compete with other governments. We don't want you leaving us and going down the road or going up the road and going to work for somebody. We appreciate you. Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
I would just add that it's been more than 20 years, I think I heard from the clerk say that since it was a study done of this sort, and the timing, I think, with the climate of this inflation, et cetera, couldn't be more better. I don't see many people that hang on the back of the trucks picking up the garbage or keeping our drainage ditches clean, et cetera, in here tonight, but going from $13 an hour to $16 is a great big boost for them. And I can appreciate the forward thinking of the mayor and Mayor Pro Temp and Sammy for you guys putting your head together, without it being a retreat item, to bring it forward to General Administration to get this done. You guys are greatly appreciate it. And thank you. And thank to all you guys that, for all you do. I know it's a big burden on Christie, but I just appreciate your spirit and how you handle things and move forward, you and Tony. Really do. So thanks to you guys, and especially thanks to all of the employees.
So this is a big investment for the city of Rome, but this is an investment that will pay long-term dividends. And so I want to thank Sammy and his team for their professionalism. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Clerk, you will call the roll.
Commissioner Bojo?
Most absolutely, yes.
Brock?
Yes.
Beeman?
Yes.
Doss?
Yes.
Quick?
Yes.
Collins?
Yes?
Robinson?
Yes.
Put me down for a yes.
Thank you guys very much. We really, really appreciate it.
And just by the way, the
like mayor
commissioners
said in
don't get any of that money.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like the mayor said in caucus, that doesn't include us, so we're not padding our pocket.
Commissioner Quick, are you?
Only one additional item. The Rome-Floyd County Planning Commission will meet Thursday, August 1st, 2:30, right here in the commission chambers. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Collins.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner Robinson.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, on the ACC, we had one thing that was going to come up tonight, the Evolution Cigar House, but
I'd like for us to table that at this point until we resolve the small bar issue or the small bar ordinance. Table that until we get a resolve on the other. On the summary, Joe, did you want to speak to the, on the summary?
Well, that may need to be a motion.
That needs to be a motion, okay. All right, I'd like to make a motion that we table the Evolution Cigar House
Second.
request.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Mr. Clerk, call the roll.
Commissioner Bojo?
Yes.
Brock?
Yes.
Beeman?
Yes.
Doss?
Yes.
Quick?
Yes.
Collins?
Mr. Mayor and the commission, I'm gonna have to abstain for the simple fact being I own that property that's in question.
Robinson?
Yes. Okay, all right. Under the Downtown Development Authority, I have the Downtown Development Authority, the Georgia Exceptional Main Street accreditation, that we're one of only 19 cities in Georgia that are Georgia Exceptional Main Street. We represent some of the most vibrant downtowns in the state and have demonstrated an exceptionally positive impact in their communities as measured by required monthly reporting and annual assessments. Every 3 years, we have an accreditation visit along with our annual assessment, and that is going to take place on Thursday, the 8th, August the 8th. There will be presentations from our DDA staff and a tour of the downtown with the assessment team. And also, Rome was the very first city in Georgia to receive the designation. So we're kind of proud of that. Our DDA is exceptional. Also, the Friday first concert will be held on Friday, August the 2nd at 7 o'clock at the Town Green. The musical guest of the evening will be the Gray Sunday and the Live Exchange Band. So put that down, don't miss it. That's all I have.
So, Mr. Mayor, could I request something from Commissioner Robinson? So under DDA, I think we would like, or I would like, input from DDA about our small bar ordinance. Since that's the business district downtown, I think they should weigh in, and if they want to place some other conditions or amend what we're proposing, I'd like to know before our next meeting.
That's a great idea.
Thank
so
you.
I'll bring that up at our next meeting.
Thank you.
I want to say this in closing, and I don't know where people stand politically or spiritually, but we've got 9 commissioners here, and we fuss and fight sometimes like a bunch of old hens, but we respect each other. We were given a month or so ago an award, recognition as a city of civility. And we haven't always been civil toward each other, but we've learned some lessons along the way. Once you get beyond cities and the local level, you get up to the state level, it gets to be a little bit less civil because you're dealing with people that you don't see in the grocery store and you don't go to church with and you don't work with. You're not dealing with your neighbors. And once you get to Washington, D.C., it turns into hate. I have never seen our country as polarized as it is right now. It's different than the way I was raised. I used to love to watch the news and watch television. Our country needs prayer. And we need good people to get back to talking to each other. It happens in local communities. I've about given up on Washington and what happens up there. But we've got to do something to turn this country around. And I hope there are other people that feel the way I do. I'm sick at my stomach by what I see when I turn on the television. And we've got to learn how to treat people the way we like being treated. And I'm not on a soapbox, and I'm certainly not a preacher, those of you that know me. But say a prayer for this country. We need it. We're adjourned. Thank you.